So I thought I'd do a story time. We're still in the blue fairy book. I'm going to find the other one so we can jump around. This is a anthology of stories that Andrew Lang gathered, and there's been many incarnations of this. Sorry about my hand. It's a little gimpy and turning lovely shades of brown, and it's still all orange from the iodine. So we're going to read a little longer story. We don't have the lights and anything, but this is a beautiful setting. I'm out at Fort Ebey on Whidbey Island in Washington. So it's a treat. Kind of thinking we want a summer home here. We love Washington, we just don't love it year-round, health-wise. So I'm going to read the Bronze Ring. So this will be a little longer, so we'll see how that works. I think the longer ones are going to be a little tougher and might not go on every platform. Once upon a time in a certain country there lived a king whose palace was surrounded by a spacious garden. But though the gardeners were many and the soil was good, this garden yielded neither flowers nor fruit, not even grass or shady trees. The king was in despair about it when a wise old man said to him, "Your gardeners do not understand their business. But somebody's walking by. But what can you expect of men whose fathers are cobblers and carpenters? How should they have learned to cultivate your garden?" So that makes sense. "You are quite right," cried the king. "Therefore," continued the old man, "you should send for a gardener whose father and grandfathers have been gardeners before him, and very soon your garden will be full of green grass and gay flowers, and you will enjoy its delicious fruit." So remember, these are very old stories collected. So there's words that have modern strengths of use that they did not then. They were just words that they used. This one meaning happy flowers. So the king sent messengers to every town, village, and hamlet in his dominions to look for a gardener whose forefathers had been gardeners also. And after 40 days, one was found. "Come with us and be the gardener to the king," they said to him. "How can I go to the king?" said the gardener, "a poor wretch like me?" "That is of no consequence," they answered. "Here are new clothes for you and your family. But I owe money to several people." "We will pay your debts," they said. So the gardener allowed himself to be persuaded and went away with the messengers, taking his wife and his son with him. And the king, delighted to have found a real gardener, entrusted him with the care of his garden. The man found no difficulty in making the royal garden produce flowers and fruit, and at the end of the year the park was not like the same place, and the king showered gifts upon his new servant. The gardener, as you have heard already, had a son who was a very handsome young man with most agreeable manners, and every day he carried the best fruit of the garden to the king and all the prettiest flowers to his daughter. Now, this princess was wonderfully pretty and was just 16 years old, and the king was beginning to think that it was time that she should be married. Yeah, 16. "My dear child," said he, "you are of an age to take a husband. Therefore, I'm thinking of marrying you to the son of my prime minister." "Father," replied the princess, "I will never marry the son of the minister." "Why not?" said the king. "Because I love the gardener's son," answered the princess. On hearing this, the king was at first very angry, and then he wept and sighed and declared that such a husband was not worthy of his daughter. But the young princess was not to be turned from her resolution to marry the gardener's son. Then the king consulted his ministers. "This is what you must do," they said. "To get rid of the gardener, you must send both suitors to a very distant country, and the one who returns first shall marry your daughter." The king followed this advice. The minister's son was presented with a splendid horse and a purse full of gold pieces, while the gardener's son had only a lame horse and a purse full of copper money. Everyone thought he would never come back from his journey. The day before they started, the princess met her lover and said to him, "Be brave and remember always that I love you." Take this purse full of jewels and make the best use you can for me of them for love of me, and come back quickly and demand my hand." The two suitors left the town together, and the minister's son went off at a gallop on his good horse, and very soon was lost to sight behind the most distant hills. He traveled on for some days and soon reached a fountain beside which an old woman, all in rags, sat upon a stone. "Good day to you, young traveler," she said, and the minister's son made no reply. "Have pity upon me, traveler," she said again. "I am dying of hunger. As you see, in 3 days I have been here, and no one has given me anything." "Let me alone, old witch," cried the young man. "I can do nothing for you." And so saying, he went on his way. That same evening the gardener's son rode up to the fountain upon his lame gray horse. "Good day to you, young traveler," said the beggar woman. "Good day, young woman," answered he. "Young traveler, have pity on me." "Take my purse, good woman," said he, "and mount behind me, for your legs can't be very strong." The old woman didn't wait to be asked twice, and mounted behind him, and in this style they reached the chief city of a powerful kingdom. The minister's son was lodged in a grand inn. The gardener's son and the old woman dismounted at the inn for beggars. The next day the gardener's son heard a great noise in the streets, and the king's heralds passed, blowing all kinds of instruments and crying, "The king, our master, is old and infirm. He will give a great reward to whoever will cure him and give him back the strength of his youth." Then the old beggar woman said to her benefactor, "This is what you must do to obtain the reward which the king promises. Go out of the town by the south gate, and there you will find 3 little dogs of different colors. The first will be white, the second black, the third red. You must kill them and then burn them separately." Oh my goodness. "And gather up the ashes. Put the ashes of each dog into a bag of its own color. Then go before the door of the palace and cry out, 'A celebrated physician has come from Janina of Albania. He alone can cure the king and give him back the strength of his youth.' The king's physicians will say, 'This is an impostor and not a learned man,' and they will make all sorts of difficulties. But you will overcome them all at last and will present yourself before the king. You must then demand as much wood as 3 mules can carry, and a great cauldron, and must shut yourself up in a room with the king. When the cauldron boils, you must throw him into it." Oh, gosh. "You must throw him into it, and there leave him until his flesh is completely separated from his bones. Then arrange the bones in the proper places and throw over them the ashes out of the 3 bags. The king will come back to life and will be just as he was when he was 20 years old. For your reward, you must demand the bronze ring which has the power to grant you everything you desire. Go, my son, and do not forget any of my instructions." Oh my goodness, these stories. There's a picture for this one too. Okay. The young man followed the old beggar's directions. On going out of town, he found the white, red, and black dogs and killed and burned them, gathering the ashes in 3 bags. Then he ran to the palace and cried, "A celebrated physician has come from Janina in Albania. He alone can cure the king and give him back the strength of his youth." The king's physicians at first laughed at the unknown wayfarer, but the king ordered that the stranger be admitted. How much more do we have? Oh, wow. Okay, like I said, longer story. They brought the cauldron and the loads of wood, and very soon the king was boiling away. Toward midday, the gardener's son arranged the bones in their places, and he had hardly scattered the ashes over them before the king revived, finding himself young and hearty once more. "How can I reward you, my benefactor?" he cried. "Will you take half my treasures?" "No," said the gardener's son. "My daughter's hand?" "No." "Take half my kingdom?" "No, give me only the bronze ring which can instantly grant me anything I wish for." "Alas," said the king, "I set great store by that marvelous ring. Nevertheless, you shall have it." And he gave it to him. More people. Sorry. Wow. So, where were we? The gardener's son went back to say goodbye to the old beggar woman. Then he said to the bronze ring, "Prepare a splendid ship in which I may continue my journey. Let the hull be of fine gold and the masts of silver, the sails of brocade." That must be that ship in the picture. "The sails must be brocade. Let the crew consist of 12 young men of noble appearance, dressed like kings. St. Nicholas will be at the helm. As to the cargo, let it be diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and carbuncles." Okay. And immediately a ship appeared upon the sea, which resembled in every particular the description given by the gardener's son. And stepping on board, he continued his journey. Presently, he arrived at a great town and established himself in a wonderful palace. After several days, he met his rival, the minister's son, who had spent all his money and was reduced to the disagreeable employment of a carrier of dust and rubbish. The gardener's son said to him, "What is your name? What is your family, and from what country do you come?" "I am the son of the prime minister of a great nation, and yet see what degrading occupation I am reduced to. Listen to me. Though I don't know anything more about you, I am willing to help you. I will give you a ship to take back to your own country upon one condition. Whatever it may be, I accept it willingly. Follow me to my palace." The minister's son followed the rich stranger, whom he had not recognized. When they reached the palace, the gardener's son made a sign to his slaves, who completely undressed the newcomer. "Make this ring red hot," commanded the master, "and mark the man with it upon his back." Kind of vicious stuff here. The slaves obeyed him. "Now, young man," said the rich stranger, "I am going to give you a vessel which will take you back to your own country." And going out, he took the bronze ring and said, "Bronze ring, obey thy master. Prepare me a ship of which the half-rotten timbers shall be painted black. Let the sails be in rags, and the sailors infirm and sickly. One shall have lost a leg, another an arm, and the third shall be a hunchback, another lame or club-footed or blind. Most of them shall be ugly and covered with scars. Go and let my orders be executed." Okay. The minister's son embarked on this old vessel, and thanks to favorable winds, at length reached his own country. In spite of the pitiable conditions in which he returned, they received him joyfully. "I am the first to come back," said he to the king. "Now fulfill your promise and give me the princess in marriage." So they at once began to prepare for the wedding festivities. I don't get what's going on. Just so you know. Let me pull that a little closer. Sorry about that. Okay. So they began to prepare for the wedding festivities. As to the poor princess, she was sorrowful and angry enough about it. Next morning at daybreak, a wonderful ship with every sail set come to anchor before the town. The king happened at that moment to be at the palace window. "What strange ship is this," he cried, "that has a golden hull, silver masts, and silken sails? And who are the young men like princes who man it? And do I not see St. Nicholas at the helm? Go at once and invite the captain of the ship to come to the palace." His servants obeyed him, and very soon came an enchantingly handsome young man, dressed in rich silks, ornamented with pearls and diamonds. "Young man," said the king, "you are welcome. Whoever you may be, do me the favor to be my guest as long as you remain in my capital." "My thanks, sire," replied the captain. "I accept your offer." "My daughter is about to be married," said the king. "Will you give her away?" "I shall be charmed, sire." Soon after that, the princess and her betrothed. "Why, how is this?" said the young captain, would you marry this charming princess to such a man as that? But he is my prime minister's son. What does that matter? He cannot give your daughter away. I cannot give your daughter away. The man whom she is betrothed is one of my servants. Your servant? Without doubt. I met him in a distant town, reduced to carrying away dust and rubbish from the houses. I had pity on him and engaged him as one of my servants. It is impossible, said the king. Do you wish me to prove what I say? This young man returned in a vessel which I fitted out for him, an unseaworthy ship with a black battered hull, and the sailors were infirm and crippled. It is quite true, said the king. It is false, said the minister's son. I do not know this man. Sire, said the young captain, order your daughter's betrothed to be stripped, and see if the mark of my ring is not branded upon his back. The king was about to give this order when the minister's son, to save himself from such indignity, admitted the story was true. And now, sire, said the young captain, do you not recognize me? I recognize you, said the princess. You are the gardener's son whom I have always loved, and it is you I wish to marry. Okay. Young man, you shall be my son-in-law, said the king. The marriage festivities are already begun, so you shall marry my daughter this very day. And so that very day the gardener's son married the beautiful princess. Several months passed. The young couple were very happy as the day was long. Were as happy as the day was long, and the king was more and more pleased with himself for having secured such a son-in-law. But presently the captain of the golden ship found it necessary to take a long voyage. After embracing his wife tenderly, he embarked. More crazy things to do, I guess. Now, in the outskirts of the capital, there lived an old man who had spent his life in studying black arts, alchemy, astrology, magic, and enchantment. This man found out the gardener's son had only succeeded in marrying the princess by the help of the genie who obeyed the bronze ring. I will have that ring, said he to himself. So he went down to the seashore and caught some little red fishes. Really, they were quite wonderfully pretty. Then he came back and passed before the princess's window. He began to cry out, "Who wants some pretty little red fishes?" The princess heard him and sent out one of her slaves, who said to the old peddler, "What will you take for your fish?" "A bronze ring." "A bronze ring, old simpleton, and where shall I find one?" "Under the cushion in the princess's room." The slave went back to her mistress. "The old man will take neither gold nor silver," she said. "What does he want then?" We're getting there. "A bronze ring that is hidden under a cushion. Find the ring and give it to him," said the princess. And at last the slave found the bronze ring which the captain of the golden ship had accidentally left behind, and carried it to the man, who made off with it instantly. Hardly had he reached his own house when the ring, he said, "Bronze ring, obey thy master. I desire that the golden ship shall turn to black wood and the crew to hideous infidels, that St. Nicholas shall lead the helm, and that the only cargo shall be black cats." That makes for interesting cargo. Okay, sorry, long story. And the genie of the bronze ring obeyed him. Finding himself upon the sea in this miserable condition, the young captain understood that someone must have stolen the bronze ring from him, and he lamented his misfortune loudly, but that did him no good. "Alas," he said to himself, "whoever has taken my ring has probably taken my dear wife also. What good will it do me to go back to my own country?" And he sailed about from island to island and from shore to shore, believing that wherever he went, everyone was laughing at him. And very soon his poverty was so great that he and his crew and the poor black cats had nothing to eat but herbs and roots. After wandering about a long time, he reached an island inhabited by mice. The captain landed upon the shore and began to explore the country. There were mice everywhere, and nothing but mice. Some of the black cats had followed him, and not having been fed for several days, they were fearfully hungry and made terrible havoc among the mice. Then the queen of the mice held a council. "These cats will eat every one of us," she said, "if the captain of the ship does not shut the ferocious animals up." Let us send a deputation to him of the bravest among us. Several mice offered themselves for this mission and set out to find the young captain. How big are these cats and how big are these mice? Captain, said they, go away from our island, or we shall perish every mouse of us. Willingly, replied the young captain, upon one condition. That is that you shall first bring me back a bronze ring which some clever magician has stolen from me. If you do not do this, I will land all my cats upon your island, and you shall be exterminated. Wow, such diplomacy. The mice withdrew in great dismay. What is to be done, said the queen. How can we find this bronze ring? She held a new council, calling in mice from every quarter of the globe, but nobody knew where the bronze ring was. Suddenly 3 mice arrived from a very distant country. One was blind, the second was lame, and the third had her ears cropped. Ho, 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 said the newcomers. We come from a far distant country. Do you know where the bronze ring is, which the genie obey? Ho, 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 we know. An old sorcerer has taken possession of it, and now he keeps it in his pocket by day and his mouth by night. Doesn't seem like a wise idea to me. Go and take it from him and come back as soon as possible. So the 3 mice made themselves a boat and set sail for the magician's country. When they reached the capital, they landed and ran to the palace, leaving only the blind mouse on the shore to take care of the boat. Probably a good idea. Then they waited till it was night. The wicked old man lay down in bed and put the bronze ring into his mouth, and very soon he was asleep. Now what shall we do, said the little animals to each other. The mouse with the cropped ears found a lamp full of oil and a bottle full of pepper. She dipped her tail first in the oil and then the pepper, and held it to the sorcerer's nose. Smart mice. Atish, atish, sneezed the old man, but he did not wake, and the shock made the bronze ring jump out of his mouth. Quick as thought, the lame mouse snatched up the precious talisman and carried it off to the boat. Imagine the despair of the magician when he woke and the bronze ring was nowhere to be found. I bet he thought he swallowed it or something. That's a whole lot of... Oh, no idea. He would have no idea what had happened to it. Oh, did I swallow it? But by the time our 3 mice had set sail with their prize, a favoring breeze was carrying them toward the island where the queen of the mice was awaiting. Naturally, they began to talk about the bronze ring. Which of us deserves the most credit? They all cried at once. I do, said the blind mouse, for without my watchfulness our boat would have drifted away to the open sea. No, indeed, cried the mouse with the cropped ears. The credit is mine. Did I not cause the ring to jump out of the man's mouth? No, it is mine, cried the lame one, for I ran off with the ring. And from high words they soon came to blows, and alas, when the quarrel was the fiercest, the bronze ring fell into the sea. Great. Bickering mice. Okay. How are we to face our queen, said the 3 mice, when by our folly we have lost the talisman and commended our people to be utterly exterminated? We cannot go back to our country. Let us land on this desert island and there end our miserable lives. No sooner said than done. The boat reached the island and the mice landed. The blind mouse was speedily deserted by her 2 sisters, who went off to hunt flies. Okay. But as she wandered sadly along the shore, she found a dead fish and was eating it when she felt something very hard. At her cries, the other 2 mice ran up. It's the bronze ring. It is the talisman, they cried joyfully. And getting into their boats again, they soon reached the mouse island. It was time they did, for the captain was going to land his cargo of cats, when a deputation of mice brought him the bronze ring. This is a very complicated bronze ring. Bronze ring, commanded the young man, obey thy master. Let my ship appear as it was before. Immediately the genie of the ring set to work, and the old black vessel became once more the wonderful golden ship with sails of brocade. The handsome sailors ran to the silver masts and the silken ropes, and very soon they set sail for the capital. Ah, how merrily the sailors sang as they flew over the glassy sea. At the last the port was reached. The captain landed and ran to the palace, where he found the wicked old man asleep. The princess clasped her husband in a long embrace. The magician tried to escape, but he was seized and bound with strong cords. The next day the sorcerer, tied to the tail of a savage mule loaded with nuts, was broken into as many pieces as there were nuts upon the mule's back. The end. So why does he automatically assume that this wicked wizard is going to be with his wife? I mean, it's his wife. So, anyway. These stories are very different than modern stories, and that's what you get for a long one. We're looking at 25-minute video here, 30 minute. Quite the story. This says it's from the Traditions populaires de l'Asia Mania Canaroy et Nicoladas Paris Machenouve 1889. That's the only note. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a French story. So that was that was page 1 through 13. And Rumpelstiltskin was clearly a very short one. So was the Toads and Diamonds, but the next one is Prince Hyacinth and the Dear Little Princess. So we'll have to try that one sometime. I wonder how long it is. Doesn't seem as long, but I don't know. Do you like the stories? Do you want more? Do you want simpler ones? Do you want more modern ones? Do you want me to summarize them? Although, they're just too delightful in their ridiculousness. So keep creating, keep telling stories. There you go, the bronze ring.